guys, welcome to the Keeping Tabs class. I am really looking forward to putting these cards together for you. They are using our Keeping Tabs stamp set, and then also the Keeping Tabs punch, which you can also get in dies. I got the punch. So I am going to go ahead and start putting these together. Now, those of you who received kits in the mail, some of you are going to have different designer series papers, which I'm also going to use different designer series papers on the cards, but with the same layouts. And on this card, I also decided to use a different embossing folder because this is a new quilted embossing folder from our annual catalog, and it's absolutely stunning. So that's what you're going to have in your kits, is this dry embossed quilted pattern versus the layered florals that I used here. So let's go ahead and start putting this together. Let me get my camera sorted for you. Okay, so in this, we are also using, by the way, the mix and match ephemera. So everyone's also going to have different pieces of ephemera, which is really fun because everyone's going to have different looking cards. I also chose to use the Full of Life designer series paper, and then this is just Granny Apple Green cut out with the this circle dies. So very, very easy. So this is crumb cake cardstock. It is cut at 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2, and the card is going to open this way. And when you see my card designs, if you ever decide you want it to be portrait instead of landscape or vice versa, go ahead and do that because it will still look really, really good. And I think I actually might do that because then you've got this to show the landscape, and I will show how it can look portrait style. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my glue on. I'm going to put this on first. I'm just going to put that right across. Just like that. And I can see that this needs to be trimmed just a little smidgen. Okay. Then I'm going to take my strip of Full of Life. Either pattern side would look really pretty. That looks nice because it's got the white pulling in that, and that also looks really pretty. But I think because I'm going to be using a rainbow, I'm going to stick with this one. So this is 5 1/2 by 1, and just nudge it up like so. And this piece, oh, my ruler's come apart, there we go. This white is 2 1/2 by 5 1/2, okay? And I am now going to stamp my circle, and I'm using this image right here, okay? So I'm going to stamp it tone on tone. So I'm going to use Granny Apple Green. And it's just a fun way to use these stamps a little bit differently. And of course, some of this is going to get covered up, right? So it doesn't have to be perfect. Just fill in the gaps. I'm going to go ahead and stamp here. Okay. So while I have this stamp out with my ink, I'm going to go ahead and, whoops, got some green on there, stamp the punched piece as well, but I'm going to use crumb cake for that. So let me just clean my stamp. Oops, dropping my rag on the floor. Okay, let's grab the crumb cake. Make sure it's clean. And this will line up right on top of this. And of course you can stamp and then punch or die cut. But those of you getting the kits, you're already going to have this already cut for you. And actually there should be a second one in here as well. Let's just see. Oh, there's not. Hopefully you guys got your 2 pieces in the mail, because in my little envelope I only have the 1 punch, which means you would maybe have to improvise a little bit. Okay, so I've got some more paper. I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that on like so. And then just line this up and punch it. And my apologies if you guys are short one of these punches. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping you guys have 2 punches. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim around here like so. And also here, just to even it up. And then I'm going to bring, oh, you know what? I did only use 1 punch. Oh my goodness. I can see that this was the bottom, which is here too. So you only need the 1 punch. Sorry guys, I'm going to be honest. My mind's a little bit scrambled these days. Our dog Cooper slipped, and he may have a slipped disc. So we've been dealing with a lot of vet visits, and he's been on meds, and tomorrow he's got another vet visit. Tomorrow's the 10th, and we may have to take him to Prince Edward Island for an MRI, and hopefully he doesn't need surgery. Hopefully it's healable, and it's been a little stressful, not gonna lie. So I'm really hoping the kits I put together and mailed out last week have all the right bits and pieces for you guys. Okay, so now it's a matter of just putting everything on. So as I mentioned, I'm going to put my card in portrait style. Okay, so actually I used dimensionals for this, so let's get some dimensionals. I found a whole bunch the other day. Look at, I'm going to start using all these bits and pieces up. So just trim those up. Okay. It's a really gorgeous autumny kind of day right now, and I've got my window open, and I don't know if you can hear the breeze, but it's really nice, and you can hear the crickets chirping out there. I hope you guys have had a nice summer. It seems to have gone really, really fast. Okay, so I am going to, I want to say room for my rainbow, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to put the rainbow on there. No, you know what? I'm going to keep it the same, because otherwise, because I'm using the rainbow and I want the rainbow to go on like that, right? So if I were to do it portrait, I would have put my designer series paper strip down here and just trimmed it up. So hopefully that makes sense. But for this card, I do think I need to stick with it that way. If I were using butterflies or the sailboats or something like that, coffee cups, whichever your different ephemera is, you could totally do it landscape. But because I'm using my rainbow, I'm going to keep it landscape. Okay, so let's just pop that on. Okay. I'm just going to overlap it on the green a little bit. I love our ephemera way more than I thought I would. Put another little one right there. Right on the edge. Here we go. Okay. Now I'm going to use Early Espresso to stamp Hello Friend. I'm just going to stamp it right on top. Okay, and I'm going to use a dimensional to pop that on. And then you see this one's going to go down here, kind of like that. So it's just a fun, different way to utilize the punch and the dies differently. Now, everyone's also going to have a different sentiment piece of ephemera. So you could put it on straight across, or you can go on diagonal like I did here on the You're Awesome. So that's completely up to you how you want to do it. I'm going to put mine straight across like that. And I'm going to stick with the happy birthday. So I'm going to stamp the happy birthday down here. Okay, and I'm going to get my little heart. There's a fun little heart stamp in this set, and I'm going to stamp that with Berry Burst. So this is right here, right? And that fits inside the punch as well. So let me grab my block. Get my Berry Burst. Just ink that up just a bit. You could use your marker as well. I'm going to stamp that. Let me zoom in for you guys. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp it right here, kind of sort of in the center, just like so. Just that's a cute little heart. All right, let's grab some more of these dimensionals that I'm using up. Okay, put that on like so. Okie doke. So you kind of want to eyeball it. How are you going to put it on there? You can either put it flush, or you can put it down just a little bit like so. And I am going to put a little bit dimensional in the middle, but I'm also going to put glue on this piece. Actually, what would be even easier is I'm going to put the dimensional right there in the middle. Okay, and I'm going to take my glue and just put it on like so. Put that up just a bit. There, look at that. Isn't that cute? And you'll also have some twine that you could either wrap right around like I did on this card. I'm actually just going to make a great big bow. Nice big bow. And I think I'm going to put the bow right there. So let me get a glue dot. Or do I want my bow there? That looks good too. And I got a heart I'm going to put on there also. So the heart could even go right here. Oh, that's cute, right? Could have also put the heart here. I think I'm going to stick with putting the heart there though. So you can really take these pieces and play around with them, and take the layout and just play with it and come up with your own ideas based on this layout. So we've got that there. Get my glue dot and put it there. I think actually I'm going to make two bows from this. Actually, I'm going to pull out my handy dandy bow maker here, and I'll make a double bow on this. I'm going to cheat a little bit. So I'm going to wrap it around twice. You might have different ribbon at home that you decide you want to use instead of the linen thread. Nothing wrong with that. Use what you have. But you do have a bit of linen thread in with your card pieces here, so if you wanted to use it, you could. Oh yeah, see, I like that better. And if you don't have one of those handy dandy bow makers, you can just make two bows and stack them on top of each other. Okay, so we'll put that on right like that. Isn't that cute? Like, how fast? How fast? And I just use computer paper that I just glue on the inside. So you can use cardstock, you can use computer paper, whatever you want. Let me just go ahead and get some adhesive. Hang on. Okay. So I just used my tape gun and I just put some adhesive across the top. And if you're ever wondering why I only put adhesive on the top, it's because sometimes I think if people want to recycle a card that I've made, it's easier just to remove this bit and then you can put a different piece in and send it off and recycle it. So there you go. So easy. Card number 1, and look at the difference with the different paper and the different ephemera. And the different embossing folders too, of course, right? Like, I just love, 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 love that design. So moving on, card number 2 is really easy. And for this one, I used, I can't think of, Lily Pond Lane, I believe, Designer Series paper. And I used, I think this paper was from our Iconic. It's new in the mini catalog, I think, or online. It's Iconic something or other, and it's got all the different Christmas and Halloween and everything. So some of you may have this paper, some of you may have it in different patterns, some of you may have this paper. So everyone's going to have a fun little variety of Designer Series paper for their card. So you can, of course, use either pattern and then alternate it, right? So that's up to you, however you want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and stick with this one. So I'm going to put that on. And just glue it down. And then this goes right across. We'll put that on right about here. You could put it in the center of your card if you want. And then there's another piece. This is, I think, 3/4 of an inch. Let me see, double check that. Yeah, that's 3/4 of an inch. And then this is just a bit less than that. So not quite half, not quite 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to cut that down a bit and trim it up. And if you really want to stretch out your paper, and you only have a little bit, I'm going to show you a trick. You can cut it down even smaller and flag your ends, okay, and cut it in half. So when you put it underneath, nobody will know it's not a full strip. Same thing with these two little pieces. You can take them, line them up. That's why it's hard to throw away scraps, because you can do so much. Flag them. Right? And then you've got 2 flags for another card. It really, really stretches it out. Okay, so now for this card, I'm using the floral design, which is this one right here, for stamping. And I'm going to stamp Pretty Peacock, which is the color of my card base. This is such a pretty stamp. So I'm just going to stamp it right down. Oops, that was way off center. Let's try that again. Oh, 100% better. Okay. And I'm going to stamp, let's see, how did I do this? I'm going to stamp this on, I'm going to trim this. Okay. So I'm going to stamp this on both sides. So it's going to go that way. Okay, so there's one. Do the same thing here. There's 2. So I have the one piece stamped just as it is, and then you've seen how I just stamped that like that, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to trim this like so, okay, and I think I did that wrong. I did do that wrong because I want 2 this way and I want 2 solid, so I could have stamped it twice. See, my brain's a little wow right now. So let's see, We'll keep that one. And we'll stamp this one. Turn it around. There we go. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. So you're going to stamp this twice, just like normal, then cut it in half. I did it the hard way today because I wasn't thinking. And we're going to come back to those. Okay, so I'm going to put the solid images on first, again with dimensionals. Getting down to the nitty-gritty on these. There's a couple. And then behind here. And these are just going to go flush together on the card. So just like this. Okay. That's pretty. And then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to use, I think that's Moody Mauve in there. I'm going to take my Moody Mauve and stamp my Hello Friend. So let me wipe some of that ink off that was on there with the early espresso. Let's stamp it off. There we go. And just stamp down Hello Friend. And you want to put it on so you have the dots down along the bottom. Or not. If you want to have it go that way, go that way. There's nothing says you can't, right? You're the artist. You can take the ideas, put them on, use them however you want. But I'm going to do it like that, and then that's where I'm going to put my bow, right? So it's like you're creating a really, look at that, like how cool. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. Line those two sides up. So it's almost like you've created an entirely different shape label. And that's what I like to do when I'm sharing videos or classes, is just showing you alternative ways that you can use products other than maybe what a person originally suspects when you see them. It gives you just a lot more mileage with your products. Okay. We'll get this on. And I'm just going to put this in the center. Just like so. Right? And then I'm going to take these pieces and I'm just going to take my bone folder and curl them up a little. And I'm going to glue those on and tuck them under. Okay, so there's one. And two. Okay, my bow doesn't totally match. So if you want, you can take your ink pads and you can color your bows. So let me show you that. Oh no, that's really on there. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab some scrap paper. And I'm going to take my ink pad. You can use your marker. So if you ever want to change the color of your bows, there's a lot of ways you can do it. You can use your marker. You can use ink refills and put your trim in some water with the ink refill. Let it soak it up, let it dry. And let's maybe try some green, because there's some green in here. I think it might be too dark for this ribbon. White would have shown this a lot better. There. That way we've got a little bit of blue, green, and what kind of looks like purple. Okay. Bring my card back in. And my glue dot. See, so now I have like a multicolored ribbon. Who knew? And then I need some embellishments. So you can use any embellishments that you want. I used, this is from, we had some loose gems. I can't think of what they're called right now. But I think I'm going to just go ahead and use pearls. So use whatever embellishments you have at home that you want to use. I'm going to use pearls because I want to pull the white out of this. So I'm going to put a bigger one here. And here. Whoops, that didn't pick up. There we go. And then I'll put a smaller one here. And a smaller one here. And there's that card done. And of course, depending on the type of DSP you're using and the pattern, again, you're going to get an entirely different looking card, just like I have here. Good way to use your designer series papers. If you wanted to add embellishments, you can add different embellishments if you're using a pattern that doesn't have as much like this one does. So let's just take a look at my ephemera. And maybe we might want to, you know, if you have something like this at home, if you want to kick it up a notch, look at that. You can put something like that. What else might be fun? Let's see, I've got everything thrown in here. Let me find something that matches. So I found that little bird, and I think that little bird looks cute. And then the sailboat's cute too. So many options. No, I think that little bird's adorable. So you could put a bird on there. Or you could also take some of this ephemera. These are the ones that aren't colored. And you could color them and you could put them on your card. So maybe we'll quickly do that. Since there's flowers on here, that might look pretty. Let's see, what do I want? I think I'm going to go with those two. So let's do some fast coloring here. Because this wasn't on the agenda, I just thought about it. So I'm going to want to color these quickly. So I'm going to take my 3 colors that I'm using, the Crumb Cake, Moody Mauve, and the Pretty Peacock. And of course I'll pull in some of the green that's behind here for the leaves. So there, I'm just going to tap my ink onto my clear block. I'll take some Old Olive. Moody Mauve. Just put that down here. You don't need much. You can scribble your markers right onto your clear blocks and pick the color up that way. Just trying to find my crumb cake. Here it is. Okay, we'll start with that. I may go in with some darker green in a few minutes. Okay, so now I'm using my water painter, so I'm just squeezing it out to get some water out. Okay, so let's pull these off. So I'm going to drop some water onto that crumb cake. Oh, there we go. I'm just going to really quickly add some color. And then I'm going to make these ones blue. Add some blue onto these. See, this is where you just start creating and you start coming up with ideas. I had no idea I was going to be doing this. But I'm like, I want to show you guys some different ways to use your products. So I added some water to my Pretty Peacock. I'm just going to blend that in because this is not totally fully dried, so that's going to blend in a little bit with the crumb cake. Give me that pretty 2 tones. Drop some more water in there. Oop, maybe too much water. Add some on here. Just kind of dropping it on. This looks really pretty. But I love how you can take a card and you can step it up or keep it as simple as you want. Really, really fun. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside to dry. Pull this one in, and I'm going to do the same thing with my crumb cake and then my Moody Mauve. Okay, so just add a wash of that ink. I'm going to add some water to my Moody Mauve. Let me get it in so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. And then I'm going to work up and just kind of let that water move on that wet paper now. Right? I'm not being super particular about getting it all in the lines, because you can always go back in, right? So maybe I want to go back in along the edges a little bit. Maybe we'll just make that solid. I'm going to keep some of that crumb cake in there. Okay. I'm going to clean that off. Squeeze that so you get all the water out. And I'm going to go in with my old olive and just add some green behind. Okay. Easy and very relaxing, very fun. I'm going to do old olive on here as well as some mossy meadow, but we'll put a layer of old olive on here first. And it just brings it all to life. Okay, and this is still wet, so I'm going to take my heat gun here in a minute and dry this, but I'm going to wait till I add all my color. I'm going to take my Moody Mauve, add a little bit there. Add my water. I'm just going to drop it on. Okay. So you get that real nice watercoloring look going on. If you want, you can add some Moody Mauve to this too. And there we go. Clean this off. Now if you want to go back in and add some more layers of color, you can do that. So I'm going to do that in the center of these flowers. And just start adding on that dimension. And you can still see a little bit of that crumb cake behind it. It looks so pretty. Okay. And I'm leaving some of the white. I'm not worrying about the white. Okay. I'm going to go into that pretty peacock and add a little bit in the center of these flowers. There. A little bit here too. A few extra drops of color here and there. There we have it. So let's just wipe that off and heat those up. We have some pretty flower embellishments to add to our card. So again, you could keep it simple just like this, or you can start looking at your die cuts or ephemera or whatever you have lying around and kick things up. So let me trim some of this. And get some dimensionals on here. You could glue these down as well, of course, right? So I think I like that. So So that's what we're gonna do. Okay. We'll tuck that right so. I think this needs another one in the center here. So we'll put another one right there. Let's tuck that on. Okay, and I'm going to pick up some more of those pearls and stick one on the center of these flowers too. Maybe we'll take a couple of the tiny ones and put them on here. There we go. So you see how you can take something so simple and just keep stepping it up until you have something that you never imagined was going to happen. All of that from this card layout. So there you go, guys. Lots of fun using your label, your punch label like this too. So the last card was just a fun, kind of like a fun way of creating a card fold. And I wanted to use all three different punch patterns on this one as well. So for my sample, and again, some of you are going to have the blueberry bushel that I used here. Some of you are going to have the berry burst like I'm using. I also, instead of using the Zinnia Designer Series paper, I'm using that Full of Life Designer Series paper. So this piece of cardstock measures 5.5 by 5, and along the 5-inch side, you score down at 2.5. Okay, so you've got a real slim card going on there. Then my lemon lime twist measures 5.5 by 4.25. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my Designer Series paper. Now in your kits, you're going to have 3 pieces of Designer Series paper. One of them is going to be longer than the other two, because this one, actually this one's even longer than what it needs to be. This one I think is 6, and it needs to be cut at 5.5. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue it and then trim it. I think I'll just put it on that way. So I'm going to put that on. This measures 2 inches. So I'm just going to put that on just like that. Okay. And then just trim that off. Okay. Because this piece is going to get glued on like that, right? Pretty cool. So I'm going to set this aside for a second, and I'm going to add these 3 pieces, or 2 pieces. It's missing a third. I'll have to get another one. Just a second. Okay, so you want to have 3 pieces of Designer Series paper. You want to have 2 pieces for the inside and 1 for the front. And it doesn't matter which patterns you use. So these measure 2 by 5.25. So just go ahead, glue them on your inside and front panels. Okay. And then I'm going to use this one on the front. Oh, see, I cut that one too long too. Oh, brother. Tina is not on her A game, guys, and I apologize. Maybe yours will be cut right. I hope so. Oh, lordy day. Okay, so there's my decorative panels. So now let's make our tabs. So I'm going to stamp one of each of our patterns, and I'm going to do Berry Burst for all of them. So there's 1, 2, and did I use this one? Yes, I did. 3. There. And this one's a little crooked, so we're gonna do that one again. Let's see how we do there. It's easier to stamp and then punch them out. I'm not gonna worry about that one. So I'm gonna use a different color for stamping the sentiments. I'm gonna use shaded spruce for my sentiments. So I'm using Notes for You to Do. And then on the inside, I put Follow Your Heart, It Knows the Way, Shine On, Make a Wish. So those are the notes for the recipient to do. So depending on which ephemera you have, you might want to change the wording I'm using. So I'm going to start with my polka dot one. Whoops, I have a thank you. I don't want thank you. Hang on. Let's get the For You. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to stamp that right above this line, like so. And then I have Notes. There we go. Again, just stamp it right above the line. And To Do. So this one's going to go that way. And put that one like there. So I'm going to bring this panel back in, and I'm going to take the Notes, fold that in half, and the To Do, fold that in half. And I'm going to glue these together onto that panel. So put a little bit of glue on both sides. And you're going to want it to, oh wait, this panel, what am I doing? This panel. And I want it to pop out a little bit. So I'm just lining it up right where these two little edges are. Do the same thing here. Just glue that on. And then this is going to go on the front. And this is going to go in between those two. Okay. So it's going to look like that. And now this piece gets glued on the inside of your card, or actually on the front of your card. You can put some on here as well. Okay, bring this in now. And then I'm just going to line this up on this bottom edge. Just like that. So imagine if you did this Christmas time and you had these as little snowflakes poking through. You could also just put glue around this edge and make this a pocket so that you could put a gift card. Something like that would be really fun. And now it's time to decorate using some ephemera. So I think I'm going to do this one really differently. I think I'm going to glue this one down. Just wanted to pull some of that orange out from this panel. You could use flowers, but I haven't used this particular ephemera piece yet, so I'm going to go ahead and use this. And look at it, fits on here really good. Now it does hide that stamping, which I don't totally, so I'm going to line it up with the F for 4. Okay, and then this one I'm going to put on with dimensionals. This is fun. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna pop that on right inside. Right, like that looks pretty cool. And what else have we got in here? There's this piece that matches pretty good. Might use that. Okay, so I've pulled out some pieces, and I think I'm gonna put my cowboy down here. So I'm going to put some glue here. And let's see, I'll grab we'll just cut some little dimensionals. Oops. I'll put one here. And one right here. Look at that. That's fun. Very fun. And let's see, I'm not sure if I'm going to use all these other ones. I might. I thought the bird would be fun to use somewhere. I think that bird might be fun to use right there, actually. So we'll do that. Okay, I'm going to take this guy, this cactus, and glue him on. I got way too much glue going on there, so let's just scrape some of that off. Okay, now I'm going to tuck him here because I want to be able to see my words up there on that label. There we go. Right, so you can just keep playing and playing and playing and build your scenes and build your pictures. So you can stick your labels on wherever you want. I'm going to go ahead and stick this one right here. Since we got this one, we'll put that on. So I'm really like, I am not, you can tell, I'm just totally rocking and rolling here without any huge plans, just winging it. We'll put a feather there because we can. And we'll put this feather right here on the edge. Pull in some of this green. Okay, so I've got a yeehaw that I might stick on there. Maybe up there like so. And then we'll open this up. And cut some dimensional. Bit of way to go there. We'll do it. Today is all about you. Put that there. And then just enough dimensionals on this sheet to put this last one on. Where do I want that? Because see, that's going to pop out, so that might not work. I might have to save that for something else. Oh, you know what? That looks kind of cool there, that way. Why not? Let's do that. Okay, let's add another bow. I think I want this one to be smaller. And you could get like I said, a gift certificate or something fun that you can tuck inside, especially if you turn this into like a little pocket card, which I had planned on doing and then completely forgot about it, but it's fun. So this bow I'm going to put right up here. So I'm going to stick that on a glue dot. And we'll just put that on the slant. Oops, we don't want to lose our For You though. Let's just turn that around a bit. There, it's a funky little bow. That's fine. Nothing wrong with funky bows. There, that's just a fun, very different, unusual card, but it totally gives you lots of ideas, right? And this is crooked, of course. There we go. And then you could write something in here like, let's just say somebody passed at an exam or got a job or promoted or something like that. So you could put maybe spoil yourself, since it's a cowboy. You deserve it. Okay, you could write whatever you want on there, but you get the idea, right? So this from this with the flowers, right? Like completely different. And like I said, you could absolutely turn this into a pocket card, which is what I would do just by putting glue on here, which was my original idea. I meant to do that today, and again, I forgot. And then I want to show you on this one, I did put some more ephemera, so you could write a bigger message on the back, and it does stand up. And same thing, you could add some ephemera and write something on the back. So just a fun, different way to make a card. So let's take a look at the cards that we made today. Here is my original card. Okay, and I didn't even think I showed this to you earlier, but that's using the ephemera in the inside. And then here's the one that I made with you today using the same layout, but keeping it landscape. Would have been really cute done portrait, but again, with the rainbow, I kind of felt it was better to stick with landscape, but you could absolutely turn this into a really cool portrait card using this layout. And then the second card for this class, and then the one I made for you today. Again, same layout, different papers, and then I decided to add that ephemera that I colored and put on there, and of course my wacky doodle ribbon, but it's kind of cool because it's pulling in the colors that are behind it. So that's fun. Okay. And then the last card, here was the original with all the flowers and the fun tabs using the Zinnia Designer Series paper. And then this one using the Full of Life paper, an entirely different ephemera for an entirely different look. So lots of great ideas here, I think, and all from using that Keeping Tabs bundle, which is, I think, a lot more versatile than you might think at first glance. And I can't even get all these cards into the camera because there's a few of them, but I really think you're going to have a lot of fun putting these cards together. And again, those of you who got the kits have all different ephemera. So some of you are going to have the little birthday doggies and cats. You're going to have coffee cups. You're going to have the cowboys like I did here today, or flowers, cupcakes. So I just would love to see your cards. If you want to take some pictures and some of your cards, feel free to do that and just pop me an email. And I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this class. I hope you got lots of great ideas and inspiration. I appreciate you so much, you guys. Take care and happy stamping.